And that is the edge of mainland Australia. Nothing but ocean ahead of us now. I guess if something goes wrong, well, we're going to get wet.
Today, I'm going to be doing a flight that I've been putting off for a little while now, and that's leaving mainland Australia and heading south over the relatively unforgiving Bass Strait. Now, it's a beautiful day for it and a beautiful place to fly to, so the rewards of a flight like this are potentially going to be quite big. But as with any flight over water in a single-engine plane out of gliding distance from land, the potential risks of a flight like this can also be quite big too. But as with everything in aviation, our job as pilots is to manage that risk.
Been a while since I wore one of these.
So in this video, I want to show you how as aviators we can turn what could easily be over-dramatized into a hugely risky flight into what I'm hoping is simply going to be an exercise in risk management and another beautiful day of flying.
Okay, ready.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, squawk 3705, 3 miles Moorabbin, contact Melbourne Centre 135.7.
3705 and 3 miles, 1357, Echo Zulu. So because we're not going into controlled airspace, they don't give me a clearance, they just give me a squawk code and a frequency to call. And you noticed it wasn't a passing, not a passing 2,500, that was at 3 miles. So apart from this bit in Moorabbin's Class D, we shouldn't actually be in any controlled airspace at all for the flight, which makes a nice change.
Echo Yankee Zulu, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Echo Zulu. Alright, full power.
India Victor Tango, downwind, touch and go, glide approach.
Temperature pressures are all
India Victor
good.
Tango, follow twin Lake downwind.
India Victor Tango.
Lower to peak, caps available.
Traffic 12 o'clock, safe altitude 0 miles.
Melbourne Centre, Echo Yankee Zulu, depart Moorabbin. We're passing 3,100, climbing to 8,000, but will remain outside controlled airspace.
Yankee Zulu, centre identified.
Echo Zulu. As usual, quite a busy departure out of Moorabbin. Lots of traffic, everyone making the most of the beautiful day. Levelled off nicely now at 8,000 feet. Now the whole purpose for today's flight is I haven't actually flown this aircraft over long areas or long distances over water since I did my trip to Iceland, and I feel like all that experience of flying over water, all that confidence that I built when I did that really cool trip with Philippe a couple of months ago, I haven't really put that experience into practice since I've come back to Australia. So I thought today, as you can see outside, it's a gorgeous day, perfect day to go across what's called the Bass Strait, which is the strait of water that separates mainland Australia from Tasmania. At some point we'll be out of gliding distance of land. That's why I'm wearing my life jacket right now. So yeah, it's a big deal. There's an element of risk there, but it's how you de-risk. It's a term that we use in business as well as aviation. How do you de-risk the situation? First of all, I'm flying IFR. Now you don't need to fly IFR, you can still fly VFR, but I fly IFR on a beautiful blue sky day because I've got two-way communication with air traffic control. They know exactly where I am at all points of this flight. You can still do the same flight VFR. In fact, I've done it VFR several times before, and you just do position reports with air traffic control. The second thing is emergency equipment. Like I said, I'm wearing a life jacket. I don't need a life raft, but I bought it, so I may as well bloody well carry it. I've also got, as I always fly with,
Top of the grab bag I have some warm gloves, then also to keep warm a beanie, an emergency blanket which is also reflective so I can, first aid kit, I have spare water, there's one, another one, a head torch, spare batteries for the head torch, lots and lots and lots of energy bars, all vegan of course. Oh, there's some Panadol there as well, a multi-tool just in case I need to stab some bears or open some red wine, and the fun part, a flare kit containing a couple of different flares for day or night usage.
I've got a knife here, I've got a torch, I've got an EPIRB which is attached to my hip, so if all else fails and I go in the water and I cannot get anything out of the aircraft, I know that I've got a life jacket, I've got a way of signalling for attention, and air traffic control hopefully know where I am. I also picked a good weather day. I don't want to add the risk of bad weather, icing potential over the Bass Strait. And finally, of course, there's the aircraft itself. I've made sure Echo Yankee Zulu has been well maintained. It's on a good maintenance schedule. It's had its 100 hourly a couple of weeks ago. And if all else fails and I do have to ditch, you know, landing on water can be tricky with a fixed gear aircraft like this one is, but I do have the parachute. So all of these things means that if something does happen, it just gives me a better chance. You basically have to get it down to a level where you're happy. I feel happy on a day like today that I'm ready to make this trip, and now I don't feel scared about it. I don't feel nervous about it because I prepared my plan for it and I can just sit back and enjoy it. Coming up to the end of mainland Australia here, and just based on my fuel plan at the moment, I know I need to change tanks in a second, so I think I may as well do it now. So I'm just going to go fuel pump on, switch over to the right tank, fuel pump goes off, and I just check the fuel flow here, make sure the temperatures of the exhaust gas temperatures come back to about where I want them to be, which is about 30 degrees lean. Might just put a little bit more fuel in, just to make the engine run a bit smoother, and there we go. So what are we doing? Burning 13 gallons an hour. Got a range at the moment of over 1,000 nautical miles, but a lot of that is because of the tailwind that we have right now, so that's helping us a lot. But we should be landing at Flinders Island with just over 70 gallons of fuel on board. And that is the last bit of the mainland of Australia. And nothing but ocean ahead of us. Level centre, Echo Yankee Zulu, maintaining 8,000 feet.
Okay, Yankee Zulu's gonna get out.
G'day. All these little islands just dotted around. Not really an option for landing, but at least maybe I'd get close to the less distance to swim. And there it is in the distance. There you go, that's Flinders Island right ahead of us now. Just coming out of the haze. It is a little bit hazy in the distance ahead of us. But that big lump of rock, definitely Flinders Island. Echo Yankee Zulu leaving 8,000 visual. You know what I could do, I've never done this before, is actually go and fly around the south tip of Flinders Island. I mean, it's such a beautiful day, there's no reason why I shouldn't. I've got plenty of fuel to do that, land, and then get back home to Melbourne again. I was just going to go straight to Flinders Island, but on a day like today, it seems like a really good opportunity to maybe see what the island's like from the air. I think I'm going to do that. Echo Yankee Zulu, we're visual now with Flinders Island, and we're going to do some VFR coastal flying once we get low level. Cancel IFR.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, roger, Flinders Island, so what's your terminate, g'day.
Thank you, see ya. Okay. Now Flinders Island has this green area around it. You can see it says for operations in this area use CTAF 127.8. I'm just about to get into that area, so I'm just going to let everybody at Flinders Island. When I say everybody at Flinders Island, I think there's one other aircraft, but I'm going to let anyone who might be in the area know what I'm doing. Flinders Island traffic, Cirrus Echo Yankee Zulu is 25 miles to the northwest. On descent, 5,400. We'll be flying A-beam Flinders Island Airport and then tracking southbound along the coastline, 1,500. Estimate Flinders Island Airport time 20. Flinders Island traffic.
Flinders Island Aerodrome.
The last time I landed at Flinders Island Airport was on my commercial pilot's license training. There might be a few other pilots who watch this video who remember that trip. That was a full-on trip. We were taught well, but we were put through the ringer on that trip. We really were, and you know, as you should be when you're learning to become a pilot. It was a stressful trip. It was a hard trip, and I have quite fond memories of we landed here and we actually stayed overnight on Flinders Island. Stayed in the town of Whitemark, and I've really fond memories of this place. I've flown over it a heap of times as I've made my way further down into Tasmania, but yeah, this will be the first time I land here at Flinders Island, probably for, I don't know, maybe 10 years?
Visibility, 25 kilometres. Present weather, no significant weather. Cloud, clear below 10,000 feet.
And that terrain up ahead of us, that's the Strzelecki Peaks. Any of you watch Kath and Kim? No, it's not named after Sharon Strzelecki. Apparently that's a really nice beach to come and visit down here. This is called Trousers Point. I think that's Trousers Point Beach. I think there's a fun story about this, that it was actually named because someone got shipwrecked off the coast of Trousers Point and managed to come on shore, but without their trousers. Whether that is true or not, I have no idea. I thought it was a good story. Very Australian. This is so cool. I'm really glad I did this. The wind is coming from behind me at the moment, so we're obviously going to get a little bit of turbulence coming off the hills now as the wind kicks over those hills and spills down the other side. You get all that kind of rotor wind effect on the lee side off the hills. It's not too bad today because there were, it's 8 knots of wind, so it's not too much, but it's still noticeable. The colour of the water over there. So many beautiful shades of blue down there. Now there's an airstrip down here I think called Lady Baron. I've just got to... I don't think they've got their own... No, I don't think they've got their own frequency, so I'm just going to broadcast on the CTAM. Flinders Island traffic and Lady Baron ALA. Echo Yankee Zulu is just on the south coast of Flinders Island, 1,500. We'll be flying within 2 nautical miles of Lady Baron Airfield. Flinders Island traffic. This is so beautiful. Alright, enough fun and games. I'm hungry, so let's go to Flinders Island Airport, let's land, and then let's see what every pilot enjoys doing almost as much as flying. Let's go and find the local bakery. Flinders Island traffic, Echo Yankee Zulu is 10 miles to the southeast. Inbound, estimate circuit time 39, Flinders Island. It's so nice just hand flying it, like in between these hills, through this nice flat gap we have, rather than, you know, IFR everything. I was going to shoot the RNAV approach in here just for practice, but to be honest, this is a lot more fun than doing that. I've done enough RNAVs in my life. Flinders Island traffic, Echo Yankee Zulu turning final runway 23, full stop, Flinders Island. Alright, speed is good, approach angle is good, power is good, wind is right down the runway, good. And we're down.
You may wonder, why is he wearing a cycling helmet when he's basically on an island in the middle of nowhere? There's very little traffic around here and I'm on very quiet roads. Well, I did make a mistake once of landing at an airport in the middle of nowhere and very quiet roads and cycling without my helmet on. Remember that time I got pulled over by the police at Longreach? Yes, I'm not making that mistake again. I always travel with a helmet. Safety first. All right. Yeah, that's where we want to go. Cycling track. I really don't do this often enough. I normally get to an airport, I just land and, you know, if there's coffee or food on the airport, I'll have something, but then I'll just kind of turn around and go. I never, well, not never, but I haven't done this for a while. I haven't just stopped and got out. Where do we go? This way, I think. And, you know, done the thing that really got me into aviation in the first place, which is explore. And look where I am. So I just came out of there and I've come to this road here. I have no idea, so I didn't want to do this, but let's Google Maps. Good pilot. There we go, that way. Okay, any snake watchers out there? Anyone who knows anything about snakes? Is that a dangerous one? Bye, snake. And here we are.
$10.
Thank you. Just on a card, please.
There you go.
Do.
Not a bad spot for lunch. Now, White Mark, where I am today, this place was originally called Camp Number 6 when it was settled here by white settlers a couple of hundred years ago. Because we were in quite a nice natural cove, this then became quite an important place for the boats that used to travel between the mainland and Tasmania. And in order to be able to navigate to this place correctly, because there are a few coves down here, so the story goes, someone placed a big white mark on the shoreline so that the boats going past would know exactly where to come. But that's not the end of the story, and this is actually my favourite part of the whole thing around the name of this place. So it's currently called White Mark, 2 words. A little while later, a new telegraph station was built just north of where I am now, so the people on the island can send messages to and from the mainland. And it used to cost them 2 shillings for 16 words and a penny halfpenny for every word thereafter. So they quickly discovered that by typing in or by sending the words White Mark, they could actually save some money by calling this place White Mark, all one word. So the name of the town used to cost 3 pence, but by calling it White Mark in one word, they saved themselves a whole penny halfpenny every time they sent a message to the mainland. I love that story. I've flown past this place several times. I've seen it on the map a lot. I never knew the origin of the name White Mark, and I wouldn't have known had I not forced myself to come down here today and be a bit more curious, be a bit adventurous, and learn a little bit more about this wonderful world that we live in. Now I'm going to enjoy my sandwich. That water looks nice.